What happens when someone refuses to accept the place the world gives them? When the greatest empire in heaven offers you its lowest job, do you obey or do you rebel? That's the choice Sun Wukong makes. In this chapter, he rejects heaven's authority, defeats heaven's champions, the mighty spirit god and Prince Nezha, and demands a title no one has ever dared to claim. Great sage equal to heaven. This is Journey to the West. Chapter 4. Appointed protector of the horses, Wukong was dissatisfied. Named equal to heaven, Wukong was still not appeased. The gold star of Venus and the handsome Monkey King came out together from deep inside the water curtain cave and soared up on their clouds. Now, Wukong's somersault cloud was special. It was super fast. In a flash, he left the gold star far behind and arrived at the southern heavenly gate first. Just as he was about to reign in his cloud and go in, the heavenly guardian Verutica, along with a bunch of mighty heavenly soldiers, Parng, Lu, Go, Bi, Deng, Sin, Zhang, Tao and others, wielding swords, spears, halberds, and pikes, blocked the gate and refused to let him in. The Monkey King said, "That old man Gold Star is a tricky liar. He invited me, old son, to come, so why did he send these guys with swords and spears to block the gate and keep me out?" Just as he was shouting, the Gold Star arrived in no time. Wukong got angry and said to his face, "You old man, why did you fool me? You said you came with a decree of amnesty from the Jade Emperor to invite me. Then why have you got all these people blocking the heavenly gate, refusing to let old son in?" The Gold Star laughed and said, "Great king, calm your wrath. You have never been to the Hall of Heaven before, and your name is not yet on the immortal registry. These heavenly soldiers have never met you. Why would they casually let you in? Once you meet the heavenly Deva, receive your immortal appointment and official registry, and have your name recorded. After this, you can come and go as you like. Who would dare stop you?" Wukong said, "If that's how it is, then fine. I won't go in." The Gold Star grabbed his hand and pulled him along, said, "You're still coming in with me." As they approached the heavenly gate, the Gold Star shouted, "You heavenly gate guards, generals, officers, and soldiers of all ranks, clear the path. This is an immortal from the lower region. I bear the Jade Emperor's sacred decree to summon him to the palace." Only then did the heavenly guardian Verutica and all the heavenly soldiers put away their weapons and step aside. The Monkey King now believed Gold Star's words and slowly followed him inside, looking all around. The sights were truly extraordinary. Stepping into the above region for the first time, entering the Hall of Heaven, he saw 10,000 golden rays rolling through crimson rainbows and 1,000 streams of auspicious air spurting purple clouds. Look at the southern heavenly gate. It's dark green, all made of shiny glass. It shines and gleams, decorated with precious jade. On both sides of the great gate stood dozens of marshals who guarded the heavenly realm. Each of them as tall as the roof beams, leaning on the pillars, holding long spears and banners. There were over 10 golden-armored guards standing all around. Each held a halberd, had steel whips at their sides, and carried curved blades and treasured swords. The outside was impressive enough, but inside was even more stunning. Against the inner walls stood several big pillars, wrapped with golden, shiny-scaled, red-bearded dragons. There were also several long bridges, with phoenixes flying and circling above them. Their feathers flashed in all colors against the sky, and their heads were topped with bright red crowns. Bright rosy clouds shimmered and sparkled, reflecting the light of the sky. Thick emerald mists veiled the entrance to the stars. In this heaven, there were 33 celestial palaces: the Scattered Cloud Palace, the Vaisravana Palace, the Pankavidya Palace, the Suyama Palace, the Nirmanarati Palace. On the roof ridges of every palace crouched gold-swallowing guardian beasts. And there were 72 treasure halls: the Morning Assembly Hall, the Transcendent Void Hall, the Precious Light Hall, the Heavenly King Hall, the Divine Minister Hall. By the pillars of every hall stood jade-carved qilin. On the terrace of the Star of Longevity, there are famous flowers that never wilt in 1,000 years. Beside the elixir refining stove, there are immortal grasses that stay green forever. He then walked to the Tower of Homage to the Sage, where he saw immortal officials in crimson gauze robes, their garments shining like constellations of stars. The immortal ministers wore hibiscus crowns, and their headdresses shone like gold and jade. They had jade hairpins, pearl-studded shoes, purple silk ribbons, and golden badges. When the golden bell was struck, The deities of the three regions presented their memorials below the vermilion steps. When the celestial drums sounded, all the immortals paid homage to the Jade Emperor. Then he arrived at the treasure hall of divine mists. Golden nails studded the jade-carved doors, and painted phoenixes soared upon the crimson gates. The winding corridors had double walkways, all carved with delicate patterns. The triple eaves and clustered brackets showed dragons and phoenixes soaring at every level. Above, a big golden gourd-shaped dome gleamed purple and bright, round and glowing. Below stood goddesses holding palace fans, and jade maidens carrying immortal veils. The heavenly generals who guarded the court looked fierce and imposing. The immortal ministers attending the emperor stood proud and spirited. In the center, on a crystal plate, lay piles of great elixirs of the highest order. In agate vases, there were several twisted coral branches, bent and curving. Truly, every rare treasure of the heavenly palace was gathered here. Nothing in the mortal world could compare. There were golden gates, silver chariots, purple halls, rare flowers, jade-like plants, and the finest blossoms. The jade rabbit bowed as it passed the altar. The golden crow skimmed low along the ground in reverence. The Monkey King was fortunate enough to set foot in the heavenly realm, and would never again fall into the mortal world and be stained by its dust. The gold star of Venus led the handsome Monkey King to the outside of the treasure hall of divine mists. Without waiting for a summons, he walked straight to the imperial presence, faced upward, and performed his ritual obeisance. Wukong stood upright beside him, not performing the court ritual, only tilting his ear to listen as Gold Star memorialized. The Gold Star declared, "Your servant received the sacred decree and has brought the demon immortal here." The Jade Emperor parted the strings of beads in front of his crown and asked, "Which one is the demon immortal?" Wukong then gave a slight bow and replied, "It's me, old son." All the immortal ministers paled in shock, said, "This wild monkey, how dare he not kneel and prostrate himself, but brazenly answer, 'It's me, old son'? He deserves death, deserves death." The Jade Emperor issued his decree. That son Wukong is a demon immortal from the lower region who has only just attained human form. He doesn't know the court etiquette. Pardon his offense for now. All the immortal ministers shouted, "We thank your majesty for your grace." Only then did the Monkey King face upward and make a deep bow. The Jade Emperor summoned the ministers in charge of civil and military appointments and told them to check for any vacant office, so that son Wukong could be given a post and a rank. The star spirit of Wuchir stepped forward and memorialized. In the heavenly palace, every hall and every department, every place and every domain is fully staffed. Only the Imperial Horse Bureau lacks a proper supervising officer. The Jade Emperor decreed, "Then appoint him as protector of the horses." The officials ordered him to give thanks, and again he simply faced upward and made a deep bow. The Jade Emperor then dispatched the star spirit of Jupiter to escort him to the Imperial Horse Bureau to assume his post. At that moment, the Monkey King was quite delighted. He went directly with the star spirit of Jupiter to take up his position. Once the handover was complete, the star spirit of Jupiter departed. In the Imperial Horse Bureau, the Monkey King summoned the supervisors, deputy supervisors, record keepers, stable hands, and all other officials, big and small. He examined the affairs of the bureau and found that there were over 1,000 heavenly horses. The Monkey King consulted the registry and verified the number of horses. The record keepers in the bureau were responsible for procuring fodder. The stable hand officers were in charge of brushing and washing the horses, chopping hay, drawing water, and cooking the feed. The supervisors and deputy supervisors helped to urge the work along. As for the protector of the horses, he did not sleep day or night but tended the horses with the utmost diligence. During the day, playing around and tiring them out was fine, but at night, he kept an especially close watch. Any horse that slept, he roused to eat grass. Any that wandered off, he caught and brought back to the trough. Seeing him, those heavenly horses all pressed their ears flat and tucked in their hooves, and under his care they grew fat and sleek. Before he knew it, more than half a month had passed. One day, during some free time, all the officials of the bureau prepared a banquet, partly to welcome him properly and partly to congratulate him on his new post. In the midst of the merry drinking, the Monkey King suddenly set down his cup and asked, "What kind of official title is this protector of the horses anyway?" Everyone replied, "That is simply the name of the post." He asked again, "What rank is this office?" They answered, It has no rank. The Monkey King said, No rank? Then it must be the highest possible, beyond all ranking. They said, Not high, not high at all. It's only called the unclassified. The Monkey King asked, What does the unclassified mean? They said, It means the lowest rank. An office like this, the lowliest and smallest, is only fit for tending horses for others. Someone like you, your honor, who after taking office, tends the horses so diligently and fattens them up so well. The only reward is that people might say a single word, good. If the horses grow even a little thin or weak, you will be held to account. And if there is any injury or loss, you will be punished and prosecuted. Hearing these words, the Monkey King's heart blazed with anger. He ground his teeth and raged. They dare to look down on me, old son, like this. Old Sun was a king and patriarch on Flowerfruit Mountain. How could they trick me into coming here to raise horses for them? Taking care of horses is a cheap job for kids. How dare they treat me like this? I won't do it. I won't do it. I'm leaving. With a crash, he overturned the official desk. He pulled the treasure from his ear, shook it until it was as thick as a bowl, and fought his way out of the Imperial Horse Bureau, using all his skills, heading straight for the southern Heavenly Gate. The Heavenly Soldiers knew he had already been registered as an immortal and was considered a protector of the horses, so they didn't dare stop him. They let him fight his way right out of the gate. In a flash, Wukong landed on his cloud and returned to Flowerfruit Mountain. There, the four mighty commanders and the demon kings of all the caves were training their troops. The Monkey King shouted loudly, Boys, Old Sun is back. A crowd of monkeys all kowtowed and welcomed him into the depths of the Water Curtain Cave. They invited the Monkey King to ascend his high throne and prepared a welcome banquet. They all said, Congratulations, great king. You've been up in heaven for over 10 years. You must be returning in triumph and glory, right? The Monkey King said, I've only been gone a little over half a month. How could it be 10 years? The monkeys said, Great king, when you were in heaven, time passed without you knowing. One day in heaven is a whole year in the lower region. May we ask, Great king, what official position did you get? The Monkey King waved his hand, said, Don't mention it. Don't mention it. It's a living shame. That Jade Emperor doesn't know how to use people. He took one look at me, Old Sun, and appointed me as something called Protector of the Horses. Turns out it's just tending his horses, an unranked bottom-level job. When I first took office, I didn't know. I was just amusing myself in the Imperial Horse Bureau. It wasn't until today, when I asked my colleagues, that I found out how low it was. I got so mad. I knocked over the banquet, threw away the title, and ran back down. The monkeys said, Coming back is good. Coming back is good. Great king, in this blessed land and grotto heaven, you are a king, so honored and happy. Why would you ever go be a horsekeeper for him? They ordered, Boys, hurry and prepare wine to cheer up our great king. Just as they were happily drinking and celebrating, someone came to report, Great king, outside the gate. There are two single-horned demon kings who want to pay their respects to the great king. The Monkey King said, Let them in. The two demon kings straightened their clothes and hurried into the cave, prostrating themselves in homage. The handsome Monkey King asked, What business do you have with me? The demon kings said, We have long heard that the great king recruits talented people, but we have never had the chance to pay our respects. Today, seeing that the great king has received an immortal appointment and returned in glory, we've specially brought a reddish-yellow robe as a congratulatory gift. If you don't think we're too lowly and are willing to take us in, we'd be happy to serve you faithfully. The Monkey King was delighted. He put on the reddish-yellow robe, and everyone joyfully lined up and bowed to him. The Monkey King then appointed the Demon Kings as his vanguard commanders, marshals of the forward regiments. After giving thanks for the favor, the Demon Kings memorialized, The great king has been in heaven so long. What official post were you granted? The Monkey King said, The Jade Emperor slights worthy talent. He appointed me as something called Protector of the Horses. Hearing this, the Demon Kings memorialized again. With the great king's divine powers, why should you raise horses for him? Even if you were called Great Sage, equal to heaven, what would be wrong with that? After hearing these words, the Monkey King was overjoyed beyond measure. He repeated over and over, Good, good, good. He ordered the four mighty commanders, Right now, make me a banner and write on it the characters, Great Sage equal to heaven. Set up a pole and hang it up. From now on, I am only to be called the Great Sage equal to heaven. Don't call me Great King anymore. Also, tell all the cave demon kings so everyone knows. But we will set this aside for now. Now, the next day, the Jade Emperor held morning court. The Celestial Master Zhang led the supervisor and deputy supervisor of the Imperial Horse Bureau to kneel below the Vermilion Steps. They memorialized, Your Majesty, the newly appointed protector of the horses, Sun Wukong, because he thought the office was too low, rebelled yesterday and fled down from the heavenly palace. Just as they finished, the heavenly guardian Verudica of the southern heavenly gate also came with the heavenly soldiers and memorialized, The protector of the horses, for some unknown reasons, has left through the heavenly gate. When the Jade Emperor heard this, he immediately decreed, Order the divine generals of both routes to return to their posts. We shall immediately send heavenly troops to capture this monster. From the ranks stepped forth the pagoda-bearing heavenly King Li and his third Prince Nezha. Stepping past their colleagues, they came forward and memorialized, Your Majesty, your unworthy servants beg to receive the decree to go subdue this Yaoguai. The Jade Emperor was very pleased and appointed the pagoda-bearing heavenly King Li Jing as the demon-subduing Grand Marshal, and Nezha, the third prince, as the great deity of the three realms and the Oceanic Assembly. They were to raise their troops and descend to the lower region at once. Heavenly King Li and Nezha kowtowed to express their thanks, took their leave, and returned to their palace. They mustered the three armies, led their commanders, and appointed the mighty spirit god as vanward commander, the fish-belly general as rear support, and the Yax's general to hurry the troops. In an instant, they left the southern heavenly gate and went straight to Flower Fruit Mountain. They chose a flat, sunny spot to set up camp, then sent an order for the mighty spirit god to go and challenge the enemy. The mighty spirit god received his orders, dressed up fully, swung his flower-emblazoned battle axe, and came to the water curtain cave. Outside the small cave gate, he saw many demon monsters, wolves, insects, tigers, leopards, and the like, howling and bellowing, waving spears and swords, leaping and roaring in that place. The mighty spirit god yelled, You damnable beasts! Go tell the protector of the horses that I am a great general of the high heavens, bearing the Jade Emperor's decree to subdue him. Tell him to come out and surrender right away, lest all of you creatures get hurt. Those monsters, frantic and terrified, rushed into the cave to report, Disaster has come. Disaster has come. The Monkey King asked, What disaster? The monsters said, There's a heavenly general outside the gate. He calls you by your official title and says he's been sent by the Jade Emperor to subdue us. He wants you to come out and surrender, or else we'll all be killed. Hearing this, the Monkey King ordered, Bring my battle armor. He put on his purple golden cap, donned his golden cuirass, stepped into his cloud-treading shoes, took up his golden cudgel, and led the demons out of the gate, drawing up in battle formation. The mighty spirit god opened his eyes wide and took a careful look. Truly an extraordinary Monkey King. He wore shining golden armor, a bright golden cap, and carried his golden cudgel. He had strange eyes that sparkled like stars, ears that hung past his shoulders, and a tall, changeable body. His voice was clear and loud. He was the former protector of the horses, with a pointed mouth and bared teeth, proud and defiant. He sought to be the great sage equal to heaven. The mighty spirit god roared, You reckless monkey, do you know me? The great sage, hearing this, quickly demanded, What puny god are you? Old Sun has never met you before. Give your name right now. The mighty spirit god said, I can hardly wait to kill you. You cheating ape. You don't know me. I am the vanward commander under the command of the high and exalted deity, the pagoda-bearing heavenly King Li, the mighty spirit heavenly general. I bear the Jade Emperor's sacred decree to come here and subdue you. Take off your armor and surrender to heaven's grace, or every beast on this mountain will be slaughtered. If you say even one no, I'll grind you to dust in an instant. Hearing this, the Monkey King got furious and said, You puny god, don't boast and run your mouth. I was going to kill you with one blow, but then no one would carry my message. I'll spare you for now. Hurry back to heaven and tell the Jade Emperor. He doesn't know how to use worthy talent. Old Sun has boundless skills. Why should I raise horses for him? Look at the words on my banner. If he gives me that title and promotes me, I won't lift a weapon, and heaven and earth will be at peace. If not, I'll fight my way up to the treasure hall of divine mists and make sure he can't sit easy on his dragon throne. When the mighty spirit god heard that, he quickly opened his eyes wide, looked into the wind, and saw. Sure enough, outside the gate a tall pole was set up, and on it hung a banner with the big words, Great Sage equal to heaven. The mighty spirit god let out 3 cold laughs and said, You stupid monkey, you don't know how to behave. You dare to be so rude and call yourself the great sage equal to heaven? Take my axe. He swung his axe straight at Wukong's head. The Monkey King was a real pro, calm and unhurried. He just swung his golden cudgel to meet the attack without even breaking a sweat. What a fierce battle. The cudgel called Ru-E, the axe named Flower Emblazoned. When these two first clashed, neither knew the other's depth. Axe and cudgel crossed left and right. One hid subtle magic inside, the other boasted big talk. They worked their spells, blowing clouds and mists. They showed their skills, scattering earth and sand. The Heavenly General's divine powers were truly well trained. The Monkey King's transformations were truly boundless. The golden cudgel rose like a dragon playing in water. The flower emblazoned axe struck like a phoenix threading through flowers. The mighty spirit god was famous all over the world, but his real skill couldn't match up. The great sage lightly swung his iron cudgel, bringing it down with one stroke toward the head. The mighty spirit god went numb all over. He couldn't stand against him, and when the Monkey King brought down a head-splitting blow on him, the mighty spirit god desperately raised his axe to block. With a loud crack, the axe handle broke in two. In panic, he turned and fled for his life. The Monkey King laughed. Useless imbecile. Useless imbecile. I've spared your life. Now go and report. Go and report. The mighty spirit god returned to the camp gate and went straight to the pagoda-bearing Heavenly King. He knelt down in a fluster and said, The protector of horses is truly amazing in divine power. Your humble general couldn't beat him. I come back defeated to beg forgiveness. Heavenly King Li flew into a rage. This guy ruined my prestige. Drag him out and chop his head off. From the side, Prince Nezha stepped out, bowed, and pleaded, Father King, calm your wrath. Forgive mighty spirit god for now. Let your child go out and fight one round, and then we'll know his true strength. The Heavenly King heeded the advice and allowed the mighty spirit god to return to camp, staying at his post while bearing his guilt. Prince Nezha put on his full armor, leaped out of the camp, and charged straight to the water curtain cave. Wukong was just pulling his troops back when he saw Nezha coming at him fiercely. What a sight he was. His hair was done up in little buns that barely covered the top of his head, and the loose strands hadn't yet reached his shoulders. He looked bright, clever, and sharp, handsome and refined. He really was a heavenly prodigy, a true immortal of the clouds. A dragon's offspring, he wasn't ordinary at all, a remarkable youth, truly one of a kind. He carried 6 divine weapons and could soar and transform with boundless power. Now, by the Jade Emperor's personal order, he had been made the great deity of the 3 realms. Wukong stepped forward and asked, Whose little brother are you, barging to my gate? What business do you have? Nezha shouted, Reckless demon monkey, how dare you not recognize me? I am the 3rd Prince Nezha, son of the pagoda-bearing Heavenly King. Today, bearing the Jade Emperor's imperial commission, I've come to capture you. Wukong laughed. Little prince, your baby teeth haven't even fallen out. Your baby hair is still damp. How dare you talk so big? I'll spare your life this time. I won't hit you. Just look at the words on my banner. Go back and pay your respects to the Jade Emperor. If he grants me this title, there will be no need to raise armies and mobilize troops. I will submit peacefully. If not, I will surely fight my way up to the treasure hall of divine mists. Nezha lifted his head and looked. There were the characters, Great Sage equal to heaven. Nezha said, How much skill could this demon monkey possibly have, that he dares to claim such a title? Don't be scared. Here's my sword. Wukong said, I'll just stand here without moving. Go ahead and chop me as much as you like. Nezha got furious, let out a loud cry, and shouted, Transform. In an instant, he turned into a form with 3 heads and 6 arms, fierce and terrifying. In his 6 hands, he held 6 weapons, a demon-slaying sword, a demon-hacking blade, a demon-binding rope, a demon-subduing club, an embroidered ball, and a fire wheel. He swung them all wildly and struck straight at Wukong's face. Wukong was secretly startled and thought, This kid does know some tricks. Don't be rude. Watch my divine power. The great sage shouted, Transform, and also turned into 3 heads and 6 arms. He shook his golden cudgel, and it became 3 cudgels. With his 6 hands holding 3 cudgels, He met the attack and blocked it. The battle was so fierce that it shook the earth and mountains. Truly a wild fight. Six-armed Prince Nezha against the handsome Monkey King. These two were a perfect match. One had been sent down by the Emperor, the other was stirring up trouble in the heavenly realm. The demon-slaying sword was sharp and quick. The demon-hacking blade was so terrible, it made ghosts and gods worry. The demon-binding rope flew like a python. The demon-subduing club looked like a wolf's head. The firewheel blazed like lightning. The embroidered ball rolled and spun in the air. The great sage's 3 golden cudgels guarded him front and back with clever moves. They fought for many rounds without a winner, and the prince wasn't about to give up. He turned all 6 weapons into thousands, even millions, and threw them at Wukong's head and face. But the Monkey King wasn't afraid. He just laughed. His iron cudgel whirled and turned with its own clever design. 1 turned into 1,000, 1,000 turned into 10,000. The sky was filled with cudgels, dancing around like flying dragons. All the demon kings in the surrounding caves were so scared they shut their doors. Ghosts and goblins all over the mountain hid their heads. The heavenly soldiers were furious, their anger darkening the clouds. The iron cudgel whistled through the air. On one side, the heavenly troops shouted, everyone trembling with fear. On the other, the monkey demons waved their flags, all worried. Both sides fought with all their might, and no one could tell who was stronger. The third prince and Wukong each showed their full power, fighting for 30 rounds. The prince's 6 weapons turned into thousands upon thousands. Son Wukong's golden cudgel turned into tens of thousands. The sky was filled with weapons like rain and shooting stars, but neither could gain the upper hand. Now, Wukong was quick with his hands and sharp-eyed. In the middle of all the chaos, he plucked a single hair and shouted, "Transform." It turned into a copy of himself, holding the cudgel and keeping Nezha busy. Meanwhile, his real body shot up, darted behind Nezha's head, and brought the cudgel down on Nezha's left arm. Nezha was in the middle of casting his spells when he heard the whistling of the cudgel coming fast. He tried to dodge, but it was too late to block. He got hit, and bearing the pain, he fled. He withdrew his magic, gathered his 6 weapons back onto his body, and retreated in defeat. On the battlefield, Heavenly King Li had already seen this and was about to lead his troops to help. But before he could act, the prince suddenly appeared before him, trembling and shaking, and reported, "Father King, the protector of the horses truly has incredible skill. Even with my magical power, I couldn't beat him. He has already wounded my arm." The Heavenly King was stunned and pale, said, "If this wretch is so powerful, how can we win?" The prince said, "Outside his cave, he has set up a flagpole, and on the banner are written the characters, 'Great Sage equal to heaven.' He boasted with his own mouth that if the Jade Emperor grants him the title of Great Sage equal to heaven, then everything will be settled. If not, he swears to fight his way up to the treasure hall of divine mists." The Heavenly King said, "If that is so, let's not fight him for now. We shall go back to heaven and report this. Then we can send more heavenly troops to surround and capture this wretch. That won't be too late." The prince, still in pain from his wound, couldn't fight anymore. So together with the Heavenly King, he returned to heaven to memorialize, but we will set this matter aside for now. Look at the Monkey King, returning victorious to his mountain. The demon kings of the 72 caves and his 6 sworn brothers all came to congratulate him. In that blessed land and grotto heaven, they drank and celebrated with boundless joy. He then said to his 6 brothers, "Since I, your little brother, have taken the title Great Sage equal to heaven, you too may call yourselves great sages." Among the demon kings, the bull demon king suddenly shouted, "Worthy younger brother, you're right. I'll call myself the great sage, parallel with heaven." The dragon demon king said, "I'll call myself the great sage, covering the ocean." The rock demon king said, "I'll call myself the great sage, united with heaven." The lion camel king said, "I'll call myself the great sage, mover of mountains." The macaque king said, "I'll call myself the great sage, wind through." The golden snub-nosed monkey king said, "I'll call myself the great sage, driving out gods." At that moment, the 7 great sages each made their own decisions, named themselves, and established their own titles. They reveled for a day and then departed, each going their own way. Now let's talk about the Heavenly King Li and the third prince, who led their commanders straight to the treasure hall of divine mists. They memorialized, "Your servants, bearing the sacred decree, led the troops to the lower region to subdue the demon immortal son Wukong. Unexpectedly, his divine power is so great that we couldn't win. We beg your majesty to send more troops to exterminate and capture him. The Jade Emperor said, how much ability could one demon monkey possibly have that you still need more troops? The prince stepped closer and memorialized, may your majesty forgive your servant's capital offense. That demon monkey wields an iron cudgel. He first beat the mighty spirit god and then wounded your servant's arm. Outside his cave gate, he has raised a banner with the words, Great Sage equal to heaven. He said if we grant him this office, he will immediately stop fighting and come to submit. If not, he will fight his way up to the treasure hall of divine mists. Hearing this, the Jade Emperor said in shock, how dare this demon monkey be so arrogant? Order the generals to kill him at once. Just then, the gold star of Venus stepped out from the ranks again and memorialized. That demon monkey only knows how to boast. He does not know the height of heaven or the thickness of earth. If we send troops to fight him, I fear we cannot subdue him quickly, and we will only labor the army and exhaust the troops. It would be better if your majesty, out of great mercy, once again issued a decree of amnesty and simply let him be called the great sage equal to heaven. Just give him an empty title, an office without compensation. The Jade Emperor asked, what do you mean by an office without compensation? Gold Star said, in name, he is the great sage equal to heaven, but he will have no affairs to manage and no stipend to receive. We will keep him here between heaven and earth for the time being, restraining his wicked heart so he will no longer have wild ambition. In this way, heaven and earth can be at peace, and the seas and universe can be clear and calm. The Jade Emperor said, well, do as you say. He immediately ordered that an edict be issued, and again sent Gold Star to carry it out. Gold Star left the southern heavenly gate again and went straight to Flower Fruit Mountain, looking down at the Water Curtain Cave. This time, everything looked totally different. A mighty, awe-inspiring presence filled the air, thick with a murderous military spirit. All kinds of demons were there, each holding swords, spears, knives, or staves, leaping and howling. The moment they spotted Gold Star, they all rushed forward, ready to attack. Gold Star said, all you headmen, come here. Please trouble yourselves to inform your great sage that I have come. I am a celestial messenger sent by the high god, bearing a sacred decree to invite him. The Yaoguais rushed into the cave and reported, there is an old man outside. He says he is a celestial messenger from the higher region with a decree to invite you. Wukong said, he comes at a good time. He comes at a good time. It must be the Gold Star who came the last time. Last time, though the office he got me wasn't great, I still went up to heaven and learned the ways of the gates. Since he comes again today, he must have good intentions. He ordered his headmen to unfurl the banners, beat the drums, and form ranks to welcome the guest. The great sage then led the monkeys, wearing his treasure cap and armor, with the reddish-yellow robe draped over the armor and cloud-treading shoes on his feet. He hurried out of the cave entrance, bowed deeply, and called out loudly, Old Star, please come in. Forgive me for not welcoming you properly. Gold Star strode right into the cave and stood facing south. He announced, I'm here to inform the great sage. Last time, because you thought your office was too small and slipped away from the Horse Bureau, the officials there reported it to the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor issued an order, saying, anyone who gets a post starts small and works up. Why look down on a minor job? So he sent Heavenly King Li and Nezha down to fight you. They didn't know how powerful you were, so they were beaten and went back to heaven. They reported that you had raised a banner and wanted to be the great sage equal to heaven. The military officials still wanted to oppose you, but I, this old man, risked my life to speak for you. I pleaded that we shouldn't raise an army and that it would be better to invite you to receive an immortal appointment. The Jade Emperor agreed, so I've come to invite you. Wukong laughed and said, last time I put you to trouble, and today you've come to show me such kindness again. Thank you, thank you. But tell me, does heaven actually have such a title as Great Sage equal to heaven? Gold Star said, I made sure to get that title approved before I dared to come with the order. If anything's not to your liking, you can blame me. Wukong was overjoyed. He earnestly urged Gold Star to stay for a banquet, but Gold Star refused. So Wukong and Gold Star vaulted up on their auspicious clouds and arrived at the southern heavenly gate. Those heavenly soldiers and generals all clasped their hands in greeting. They walked straight to the base of the treasure hall of divine mists. Gold Star knelt and reported, Your servant has brought son Wukong, the former protector of the horses, as you commanded. He has arrived. The Jade Emperor said, Son Wukong, come forward. Today we proclaim you great sage equal to heaven. The rank is already at the highest grade, but you must absolutely not act recklessly. The Monkey King merely faced upward and made a deep bow, uttering thanks for the grace. The Jade Emperor then ordered the officials in charge of construction, the two foremen, Zhang and Liu, to build an official residence of the great sage equal to heaven to the right of the Garden of Immortal Peaches. Inside the residence, two bureaus were established, one called the Bureau of Peace and Quiet, the other the Bureau of Serene Spirit. Each bureau had immortal officials to assist. The Jade Emperor further dispatched the Star Spirit of 5 Poles to escort Wukong to his new post, and additionally gave him 2 bottles of imperial wine and 10 golden flowers, telling him to settle his mind and resolve and never act recklessly again. The Monkey King accepted and followed the orders. That very day, he went with the Star Spirit of 5 Poles to his new residence, opened the wine, and drank with everyone there. After seeing the Star Spirit back to his own palace, he was finally completely satisfied. Full of joy, he roamed the heavenly palace in carefree happiness, without a worry or a care. Truly, his immortal name was forever inscribed in the register of longevity, never to fall into the cycle of rebirth, and his legend would endure for 10,000 ages. Sun Wukong had won the title he demanded, but not the freedom he truly sought. If you enjoyed this journey, stay with us, because even heaven has no idea what's coming next.